we've recently added the carousel operating mode to the MBSTF. So I'm going to do a little demo today of the carousel mode in operation. Let me just get some windows in place. So I'm going to use the Express mock media server from the
sorry to interrupt, David. Is it worth just
yeah.
just giving a bit of an intro, just to explain what it is we're doing and why we're doing it?
So we previously implemented the single shot mode and the streaming mode for the MBSTF, and there are two other modes, one of which is the carousel mode. And the reason for implementing the carousel mode is to help with some work we're doing on the MBSF, which would allow us to create the user service announcement channel for all the services that the MBSF is currently configured with. So in carousel mode, you give it a manifest of objects, and those objects are repeated over and over again, so that a client joining just has to wait a certain amount of time and they will get everything that's in that channel. So I have one more window, which is the MBSTF. Get it to the right size. So what I'm going to do is start up some services. So I've got a 5G core, which is based on our 5MBS branch of Open5GS in 5G Mag. I'm going to emulate a media application provider's media server using the Express mock media server, and I'll just show you the files that I will be serving in a moment. I'm also going to run the MBSF and the new MBSTF with the carousel. So just get some of these commands ready. So for the carousel, we have several files. So this is using the files from the tutorial, but I've added a carousel file, and actually with these ones I've increased the size of the files just to make it a bit more interesting. So the carousel file itself is fairly simple. It's just a list of objects and the one bit of metadata, which is a repetition time for the carousel manifest itself. So this line basically says you should refresh this manifest file itself, go and refetch it every 30 seconds. And then we have a list of objects. And these are the objects from the distribution session in the tutorial for the single shot mode. So what I have is for object 1, I've said I want that repeating every 500 milliseconds and refresh it every 5 seconds. It looks a bit odd that there's two different measurements. So keep updated interval is in seconds and repetition interval is in milliseconds. Object 2 will be repeated every 333 milliseconds, so 3 times a second. And then I've left out the repetition intervals for objects 3 and 4. So the MBSTF will decide based on how much bit rate it has available, how often to repeat those objects. And it will fill the remaining bit rate that it has with repetitions of those objects. So we will just start the media server up, so that's ready to go. I've also tweaked the code for the media server so that it can respond with the not modified type when it needs to. And I'll just start the core. And we can start the MBSF and the MBSTF. So now we've got all the bits running. I'm going to use the Insomnia client just to operate the MBSF. This is the files from the tutorial that Daniel made, but I've duplicated some of the entries and added some extra information. So the important one here is this create carousel MBS session, and for that it's the same as the other one, except same as a streaming one, except that we tell it it's going to be operating in carousel mode and that it should pull the carousel file from the media server, which I've set up there. So if I I need to create a user service first for the NBSF. That's done. And now I can create the carousel. And when I do that, you should see, because I've got all the debug information turned on, you can see it's scheduling all the different objects in the carousel. And I can then, I'm just going to stop that. Hopefully. There we go. And what I can do is I've just off screen started a Wireshark session. So IPv4. And I'll just bring that onto screen now. Here we go. So you can see as it was capturing, whoops, we've had various objects transmitted, TOI2, TOI3, TOI4, and occasionally, there we go, there's one. You can see it's sending at the moment 2 files at once in the flute stream. And it just repeats and repeats and repeats all the objects over and over again until you tell it to stop. And while it was doing that, it was also refreshing the objects from the media server. So all the refreshing works, all the scheduling of the carousel works. There we go, quick demo.